What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. I just read an interesting article, and I figured I would share my thoughts and outlook on this. It was Saul Canelo Alvarez. He was talking about his biggest challenge to date, obviously, his fight coming up September 14th in Las Vegas against Floyd Money Mayweather. Now, this is a fight everybody wants to see. Everybody was beckoning for this fight. People like Skip Bayless and just other people in the YouTube boxing community. They were saying this is a fight that never in a million years would Floyd Mayweather take. He took it, and we're going to see in September 14th who is the one. Now, in this article, Canelo, he said something, and it actually threw me for a loop, and I want to explore some of the statements he said. He was basically saying that this is his step up challenge. He's rose to the occasion, and we haven't seen the best. This is what he said. Well, that's what's left to take the next step. Floyd was in my position at one point. Oscar De La Hoya was in my position. Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. was in my position. This is what's left to give that next big step. I've always said my rivals bring out my potential, and I haven't brought out the most of my potential. Obviously, with Floyd Mayweather, he's going to bring out the best and most potential out of me September 14th, and everyone will see it. He was going on to say that Austin Trout fight, that was a fight that a lot of people thought he was going to get outboxed by Austin Trout, and Austin Trout would make him look bad. He said it was the exact opposite. He said, I felt very good in my last fight. Everyone thought Trout was going to make me look bad, and it was the opposite. And like I said, every opponent continues to bring the best out of me. And in Mayweather's last fight, Guerrero didn't cause him any problems. He didn't have a game plan. He stayed with the same plan and wasn't able to do anything against Floyd. So that's coming from Canelo. He also goes on to say it's very hard to point out the flaws in Floyd. He's a complete fighter, but obviously you can see any weakness when you're up there in the ring. We have to be ready, so when we find it, we attack it. This is what worries me about these statements from Canelo. Just, I don't really expect statements like this from a professional fighter, especially someone like Canelo, who's been fighting since he was 15. He turned pro at 15, and he's a student of the game. And what troubles me is that in multiple interviews and just videos that I've seen regarding this fight, he still thinks that Robert Guerrero lost because he didn't adapt. And if he honestly believes that, I think he's going to be in for a real long night. And I've done this. I did a complete breakdown round by round of the Robert Guerrero versus Floyd Mayweather fight. I did a post-fight, and then after I rescored it, I think it's over 10,000 views, something like that. And I really assessed what was happening, and I went round by round. And the thing that I noticed was Mayweather takes fighters out of their element. In order to beat Mayweather, you have to constantly be moving, constantly be adapting, constantly be thinking. And it's very hard to outthink somebody who's been fighting 16, 17 years. Am I saying Mayweather's invincible? No. However, if you can't catch him with something good like Shane Mosley and just put him away right then and there, he's a fast thinker, then that might have been your window, your gateway. And for Canelo, it surprised me to hear these statements from him because he thinks Guerrero didn't have a game plan. If you watch any video pre-fight, Robert Guerrero seemed very confident in his ability, very confident in his skill. He said he felt good at welterweight. He was 2 fights deep into welterweight. He had an interim belt. And ES News, Ellie Seckbach, props to Ellie, he had some great coverage of pre-fight talk with Robert Guerrero. And one of the things that Robert Guerrero was saying is to beat a guy like Floyd Mayweather, you have to not let him break you down mentally. And on the Showtime Showdown, he said that. He said, oh, none of that got to me. He didn't get under my skin at all. I'm not these other guys. I'm not Victor Ortiz. I'm not just going to mentally give him the fight or give him the edge. I'm a tough, thick-skinned person. He also said to beat a guy like Floyd Mayweather, you have to adapt and you have to be able to think in the ring. And he goes on in multiple interviews before the fight saying that he's able to adapt. He can brawl. He can be a technical fighter, and he can rough him up. He can do whatever needed to get the victory. However, that obviously wasn't the case. Even if you watch the first 3 rounds of the Guerrero-Floyd Mayweather fight, Robert Guerrero looked very focused. He looked very sharp. He looked like he meant business, like he was really in it. Problem is, as the fight went on, round after round after round, he got more and more discouraged. And that's what a fighter like Mayweather does. Now, this is the thing I don't really understand. People say, "Oh, you ran like a chicken," and all kinds of stuff like that. But to me, I appreciate all types of fights. I like fighters from all walks of life, race, I don't care, age, I don't care, styles, I don't care, because that's what makes boxing interesting to me. But I can definitely appreciate the beauty in what Mayweather does is he almost rips your heart out in front of you and just completely outclasses you and shows you that you're on two different levels. Robert Guerrero was very, very confident that he could beat Floyd Mayweather. And I genuinely believe that. Obviously, you're going to say I'm the best and whatnot, but I think Robert Guerrero really thought he could beat him. And I think some of the fans did too. I mean, he was 6 years younger than Mayweather. He's a southpaw. And if you notice in that fight with Robert Guerrero and Floyd Mayweather, I don't think I really touched on this in my videos. Robert Guerrero is a southpaw. He's not as big as Canelo, but he's a southpaw. What that means is the Mayweather shell, the Philly shell, whatever you want to call it, the shoulder roll defense, does not typically work as good with a southpaw based on how their body is positioned and what angle the punches are coming from. So, that being said, Mayweather didn't really box in the Philly shell through that fight. With Canelo, he has the option to, because Canelo's an orthodox fighter, he has the option to do the Philly shell, which means he might even be harder to hit than it was for Robert Guerrero, just because he's obviously perfected the Philly shell. They call it the Mayweather shell too. Adrian Broner's working on it, but he's definitely nowhere. Mayweather's eons above where Adrian Broner's shoulder roll defense is. Broner still gets hit with fairly easily, where Mayweather is very hard to hit, especially to hit him flush. Watch the Cotto fight. Oh my God, he was on the ropes, and Cotto, a skilled fighter, a veteran fighter, an aggressive fighter under the tutelage of Pedro Diaz, he looked very sharp, but he could not. It was like kind of like De La Hoya all over again. He was on the ropes and he's throwing a whole bunch of punches, so the crowd's going wild, like, oh, oh, oh. And watch that same rally, quote unquote rally, in slow motion and see how many of those actually landed. And it's like maybe half of a punch landed out of a succession of 6, 7 consecutive punches. And again, Canelo's an orthodox fighter. He's not a southpaw. He's much bigger than Mayweather, so he definitely can catch Mayweather with something. But Mayweather has shown a pretty sturdy beard in the past. He got hit by Shane Mosley. And again, Mayweather's going to be able to use the Philly shell. And unlike Anderson Silva, I think a guy like Mayweather is going to be more respectful of his opponents, each and every opponent, to the point where he's not going to showboat. It's crazy because Mayweather gets probably the most hate in the sport of boxing, yet when it comes to fight time, he's not even half as cocky as other people that have done it. I've seen tapes of Muhammad Ali, and he's talking shit in the ring during the fight. I've seen Roy Jones put his hands behind his back. He's like, I wasn't chicken fighting. That's what we do. I'm from Pensacola. And he was putting his hands behind his back. I've seen Roy Jones Jr. dancing in front of opponents. Adrian Broner dances, and he was talking shit to Paulie Malignaggi. But Mayweather is the only one who is more or less the showman outside of the ring. And when it comes to in the ring, he's mostly all business. So again, back to the purpose of this video, I think Canelo might be underestimating the skill level of Mayweather if he honestly thinks that Guerrero just didn't have a game plan and he just didn't have the ability to adapt. The thing with fighters like Andre Ward and fighters like Mayweather, who are at the top of their craft, pound for pound, they take your best weapons away from you. Not that Robert Guerrero, because if you watch the Guerrero and Mayweather fight, I'm telling you, and this is Mayweather with the hurt hand or whatever he did to it, Guerrero, I seen on his face, I seen him try different things. At first, he was trying to outbox. He was trying to be the counter. He was letting, at certain points, he was letting Mayweather take the lead, and Mayweather was getting the best of him. Then he tried to be more of a brawler and do what he did to Berto, and he was just trying to get in close and rough him up. Mayweather was still beating him. He was trying to corner him on the ropes. Mayweather still beating him. So everywhere Robert Guerrero turned, every angle, every approach that he had, he was getting bested by Mayweather. And that's what Canelo needs to realize. It wasn't necessarily what Guerrero was doing wrong or that he didn't want to adapt. Is when it came time to adapt, Mayweather just on another level. And Mayweather took his best assets, frustrated him, made him think twice because he was getting popped every time. The speed and reflex of Mayweather, the movement, just everything as a whole bothered him. Again, watch that fight, break down the rescore, Robert Guerrero, Floyd Mayweather. I break it down in detail and talk about it more. But I think Canelo's in for a handful, especially if he thinks Robert Guerrero didn't adapt, that he just merely didn't come with a game plan. I think Robert Guerrero had a game plan, but even with him having a game plan and trying to change his game plan, it still wasn't enough. So we'll see what Canelo does, if he does any better than Guerrero or any better than Victor Ortiz or Shane Mosley for the first 2 rounds of their fight. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.